BackChat Basketball Show, back again, of course. Dan Const here, hanging out with Ben Mallis. I thought it was maybe a lumberjack has gone into your house and taken your spot, Ben. But you just decided to grow out a beard. Talk us through the beard. Go on.
Well, I need something to keep me warm during winter, and you're lucky. I did have my lumberjack shirt downstairs. I've got a nice little black and red checkered number, but I
Yeah,
thought
nice.
that would be too cliche for the pod, and I might have some enthusiasts coming after me that I don't want. So, yeah, we're bunkered down. We're trying to survive the Melbourne winter. You've got a nice little beard brewing yourself, so I'm sure you can relate to the need to keep warm.
Yeah, mine is nothing compared to yours though. Mine is just like hair growing out of my face, and it's I wouldn't even call it a beard. It's just literally hair growing out of my face. Yours is a full like
So
rug.
yours is Perth appropriate though, and have
Yeah,
you
that's
grooming
right.
that, or does yours just not go out in the full level?
No, there's no work done in this. It grows for a while, and then my wife goes, "Please, please, please trim your beard," and then I trim it. So
See,
yeah,
that's the problem. Well, it's not a problem, but that's the thing I'm working with. My partner encourages this beard, so
yeah.
I don't know what's going on there, but she encourages it, and that's why I can look like a homeless person after a couple of weeks. So hopefully everyone is listening to this on their podcast app and not taking screenshots of me on
Yeah,
YouTube
no,
because
go on
it's not the
YouTube
vibe.
if you're not if you haven't watched the show and you just listen to it, go to YouTube, just search Backchat Studios. There's a podcast playlist for the Backchat Basketball Show, and have a look at Ben's beard. It's delicious. We have a new show coming out every Wednesday. Backchat_basketball is where you find us on Instagram, and send us an email, hello@backchatpodcast.com. And I've been told recently that we will have our own email address soon, which is great. I don't have to say Backchat Podcast because that's a different podcast. Not similar, but it's different. So that's pretty
Making
special.
waves,
Yeah,
making magic happen.
making absolute waves. Much like the Denver Nuggets and Miami Heat, let's get straight into the NBA. So the finals are set. It's been what feels like a month for the Denver Nuggets, waiting to see who they're going to play in the finals. The Celtics couldn't get the comeback complete. I think it's for the 150th time in history, or maybe the record's now 0 and 151 or something. Teams that have tried to come back from 3-0 deficits. Let's just start with that, right? So, like, why can't teams come back from 3-0? Because teams win 4 games in a row all the time. Like, sweeps happen a fair amount, and obviously it's usually the better team sweeping the worst team. Why haven't we been able to seen a single team do it?
Well, let's use the Boston Celtics to answer that one, right?
Yes.
Because good teams do not fall down 3-zip. It's very rare that a good higher seeded team falls down in the NBA playoffs.
Hmm.
With the Boston Celtics, sorry, being an exception to that. But the Bostons are a historically maddening team, I think, because these guys have so much talent. They've
Yes.
got the most talent in the league. So they fit a profile of a team that can win 4 games in a row. But historically, teams with that much talent get their you know what together and don't lose 3 games in a row. So it's just such an impossible mountain to climb. And we saw it with Boston, right? They had more talent even in games 5, 6, and 7, but they needed a miracle to survive game 6. And then
Yep.
game 7, look, they didn't show up. They had dead legs. Yes, Tatum rolled his ankle,
Yep.
but there's just no margin for error when you need to win 4 games in a row. So, look, I think the Celtics fans out there must be pouring one out and pulling their hair out as well because this team exits the season with a talented roster that continually shot themselves in the foot, and we'll get into it. But yeah, they
Absolutely.
need a new head coach in Boston because it was just a nasty way to end the season and typically on brand for the Celtics, right? To bring it all the way back from 3-zip,
Yep.
get to within the precipice of making history, and then what do?
Fumble the bag.
They lay a dud at home and say,
Yep.
"Thank you, fans. Let's go into the off season."
I looked up yesterday or the day before that to find out how many teams have come back from 0-3 to then match it to take it to game 7, and I think it was
There,
5.
there were three.
Oh,
There
was
was
it 3?
There were
Yeah,
3 in the history of the NBA, and the
yeah.
Celtics, interestingly enough, were the first team to do that and have home court advantage in Game 7.
Really? So it's always been the home court. Sorry, the away team
Yeah, that's
in game
rallied
7.
back the lesser
Yeah.
seeded team. So they're the first higher seeded team to ever fall down 3-zip and bring it back to Game 7.
Yep.
And of course, what do? They lost Game 7 on their home court.
I thought this is it. This is the time. It's finally going to happen. Like, we've been talking about this record year after year after year. It's never, like, it's not possible. And I thought this is the team. They're going to do it. I thought, yeah, home court. The Heat had sort of like when it sometimes happens when a team's up like 3-1 and then the other team wins the next two and you're like they're shot, like the
Yep,
momentum's all with one team. I honestly thought the Heat weren't going to get it done, but credit to them, they absolutely did, and now they are in the finals. Another stat I read was that Pat Riley has been involved in 25% of the NBA finals in history.
it's nuts. Yep,
That's crazy. 25% of the NBA finals, Pat Riley's had something to do with. So obviously he's been there throughout through those Lakers years,
coupled with the
then
Knicks.
coupled with the Knicks, then the LeBron Heat era. Um, the man's insane.
There's
Absolutely. Like that, it doesn't seem like right, but it is. It's a correct stat.
there's a crazy stat, and I forget the
Oh,
specifics
as
behind
I
it.
just adjust my light here. Sorry
I
about
was going
that.
to say if someone at a higher purpose is shining down on Dan at the moment. But there's a crazy stat out there. I forget the specifics, but it's something like someone at a LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan. If you take those six names, they've been in 95% of the NBA finals over the past 50 years.
That's
So it
huge.
just shows how you get one dominant player and you're probably going to get to the NBA finals eventually. But yeah, Pat Riley seems to be the godfather, right? He just hangs out in Miami, he lives the good life. I think
Yep.
me and you should get down to Miami and cover a game because that place
Keen.
is going to be rocking over the next few weeks.
I'll see if I can get that over the line. Yeah, in the next week. If I might just I'll send my wife a text and go, "Hey, what are the chances of Ben and I going out to Miami for the week?" Um,
Yeah,
see what
or
happens.
always ask for forgiveness, don't ask for permission. And
That's right.
says the guy that's not married with no kids.
Do we have the budget for that, Ben? You're the finance guy in this relationship.
Well, I've got an Amex card here that's not in my name, so
All right,
my
let's
partner
go.
might kill me. But yeah, if
Book
we're on
it.
the first plane to Miami, so I've
Yeah,
always joked with Nick Medalinos of ESPN that no Australian NBA player has ever played for the Miami Heat or the Orlando Magic, which is a shame because it just
yeah,
means all of us have no excuse
yeah,
for getting down to Miami. I think when the day comes when an Aussie gets drafted down to Miami or Josh Giddey or someone decides to go play for the Heat,
yeah.
I think we'll have to take the show on the road and get down to South Beach because that's
Absolutely.
the one US city that we need to go to.
Yeah, have you ever where have you traveled when you were over there? So you were based in Philly, so you would have stayed a lot on the East Coast.
I've
How
been
far
to
west did you go?
I've been to 17 NBA cities. So
Right.
I got to San Fran, got to LA.
Yeah.
They're
But you just
glorious.
never went to
Never got down
Miami.
south. I got to Dallas and San Antonio and Memphis.
Yep.
A distinctly different vibe from what I'm
Hmm.
imagining the
Yeah.
southeast would be like. So no, the southeast down in Florida is the next NBA location I need to hit up because it's being a Perth kid. You know this. My beard won't survive down there. It'll be cleanly shaven, board shorts will be on, and we'll be watching some basketball.
Yeah, nice little floral shirt going
I'll be
and
sweating like a
some
madman through it
double
though.
pluggers. Um all right, let's talk about Golden State. Like we're sort of just skewing off the finals for a second because we'll come back to sort of put our predictions up for who wins and stuff like that. Bob Myers, the sort of I don't know what would you call him. He's the Pat Riley equivalent
The
over it.
Godfather of Golden State.
Yeah, Godfather of Golden State. Four championships, built this amazing team. It'll go down as some of the greatest teams that we've ever seen. He's stepping down as general manager. Says it's time. Do you think he winds up at another team?
If he wants to, I did see something very humorous this morning from a man that we do like to mock on this podcast, Adrian Wojnarowski. I just butchered his name there of ESPN, but
Woj.
he was on Woj. He was on
Yep.
TV saying that Mize is going to be the most highly sought after executive in the history of North American sports.
Yep.
So I think Woj was laying on a little bit thick there. But if Myers wants another job, I'm sure he can get it. But he's been getting paid $10 to $15 million a year over the past decade to live in San Francisco and put one of the best basketball teams of all time together. So I'm sure he'll be taking some time off and kicking his feet up. But sure,
Yes.
if one of the NBA owners wants to back up the Brinks truck and throw an 8-figure salary in front of him, I'm sure he'll look at it. But maybe this is just what a decade with Draymond Green and Golden State will do because he strikes me as someone that needs a break. He said that this morning. And again, what else? What else can you even want to accomplish? If you were him,
Yeah.
why would you keep going? What else can you do in Golden
Maybe you
State?
go to a different sport. Maybe you just like
Does he
go.
want to come run the West Coast Eagles?
Yeah, maybe, absolutely, I'd be up for that. He did. I'm trying to find the quote, but I swear maybe it was a satire thing, but I don't think it was. Like he said, basically, it's not about the money. Like I've made plenty of money.
Yeah, he did say that this morning. Must be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, great. So like, I'm not. He's not going to take a job based on the money. So you could probably throw any figure at him, and he's probably like, he's got to want to do it. So, um,
And of course,
yeah.
he was one of the biggest player agents in the NBA before he did this. So he made a nice little fortune
Oh
representing
yeah,
half the league,
absolutely.
and now he's gone into Golden State. So yeah, he seems to be one of the most connected minds in the NBA. So again, whatever he wants to do, I don't doubt he's going to be doing that.
One of the funny things I saw from the East Coast, the Eastern Conference final was Bam Adebayo giving Jimmy Butler the trophy, and he said,
Hmm.
"No, I want the next one. I'll hold the
Really, I
next one."
missed that. So Jimmy did that thing where he didn't touch the Eastern Conference trophy.
Yeah, same thing happened. I remember with Dirk in 2011. They gave it to him, and I think he held it for a second, then he gave it back. He's like, "I've already got one of those. I don't want one. I want the next one."
Yeah. Jimmy
Which is
Butler's just an interesting cat, right? Did you hear the stories over the past couple of weeks of him blasting country music in an
yes,
NBA locker room? And having been in NBA locker rooms, country music is not something that you're going to hear
no,
most of the time. But Jimmy Butler is just a man of his own devices, isn't he? And
yeah.
yeah, no one's going to tell him to do anything he doesn't want to do.
Okay, so the Miami Heat, they're going to take on the Nuggets. I have a team that I want to win, then I have a team that I think will win, and we're probably, I don't know if we're in the same boat with that. So I would love the Miami Heat to come through and win. To be honest, I wouldn't be unhappy with either team winning because I think both teams deserve it, and I don't dislike either team. It's not like it's Golden State or um, the Lakers or something like that, where I've like really don't want that team to win. So I would love the Heat to win, but I think the Nuggets get it done. Um, I want the Heat to win because Jimmy Butler and his team remind me of the 2011 Mavs, and anytime I can like draw some sort of link to them, I will go and back them in. So the superstar surrounded by they've got very good pieces around. It's not like an absolute. It's not they're not plebs, but uh, yeah, I think it's the more fairy tale story. They were in the play-in, and then they come through, and they were like minutes away from losing
Mm.
to Chicago. There's so many good storylines in this for Miami to win, but I think the Nuggets get it done. What do you think there in the finals?
I agree. Just one quick thing on Jimmy Butler. There was
Mm,
this image going around social media yesterday of no, it was after game six actually, of some of the buzzer beaters that have ended Jimmy's season and some of the trauma he's been a part of. And
right.
it feeds into what you're talking about because I'm seeing a lot of people saying they want Jimmy to get his championship. And I completely blanked on this, but of course Jimmy was in Philadelphia when they
Yeah,
lost game seven in
that
Toronto.
bounce.
The bounce that was an amazing memory, and then there was a game. It was when he was with the Bulls and he was playing LeBron. I don't know if you remember that
No,
Delhi assisted to LeBron's game-winning shot in 2015
no,
that
I don't remember that.
essentially derailed a Bulls team that was potentially going to pull the upset over LeBron. So Jimmy has been right there throughout his career and not been able to get over the top. And again, I know there's a lot of people that want him to win this finals, but I'm going to double down on what you said, and I think Denver is about to dominate the NBA finals because Jokic, I actually think this Denver team is a better parallel to your Mavs team because Jimmy Butler's a great player, but
Yeah,
he's not on the level of Nikola Jokic. And Jokic, if he wins this championship, will be pushing to have a career that's up there with Dirk's at the end of the day.
absolutely.
And this is his moment to go against a team in the finals that Miami has been resilient. And I bet against them at every turn, and they make me look foolish.
Yeah.
But Denver has every advantage they need in this series. They've dominated Miami over the past 5 years every time they've met. And I suspect we're going to see Denver win this in 4 games or 5 games, but I don't think it's going to be a long series because Miami has to get on the plane now and travel to Denver and deal with the altitude. And then we can delve into all the X's and O's if we wanted to, but it just comes down to Nikola Jokic is the baddest man on the planet and he
Hmm.
has a great team around him. And I think this is Denver's time and Denver's series. And hopefully I'm wrong and the Heat make me look foolish and we get a game six and a game seven.
Yep.
But how do Miami stop Nikola Jokic? I just can't see them doing that. Adebayo can do some things, but he's not going to have the size and strength to deal with the Joker inside.
No, I don't think he's got the discipline to handle him. Like he does some odd stuff at bio, like he does some amazing things, but then there's like just absolute brain fart sometimes, and you can't have that when you've got Jokic, who is the best player in the league. You know, he was the MVP of the season. Um, he'll go down as one of the best big men of all time. Like, and you can't have a guy who's like
Yeah,
sporadic and stuff. Like, and yeah, like you said, he'll own that series. Um, they've also just got a lot of good pieces around them.
they do.
Like I'm a big Aaron Gordon guy. I don't know why I like
Dunk
him, but I
contest
just
is why you like him.
yeah, that's true. That's actually what it was. I remember now. Um, like him, and Murray. Like I don't know why people dislike Murray. Are you in that camp?
I'm a fan of Murray. You're right.
Yeah,
There's a
good.
lot of talent in Denver. Murray's got game, and he's missed the last two postseason because of his knee. He's a player
Yes.
performer. And one more thing for Miami, Eric Spoelstra going up against Joe Mazzulla, that was like a
Mm,
master apprentice going against an infant rookie. And
yeah,
Mike Malone's
absolutely.
actually a good coach. So
Yeah.
Spo's an amazing coach, best in the league, but there's not going to be a massive coaching disparity this time around. And coaching can beat a sloppy, inexperienced team like Boston, but coaching alone isn't enough to beat the best player in the world. So, look, you know what's going to happen now? Miami's going to win this series. We're going to look foolish in 2 weeks, but Denver's got
Oh,
everything they need. Michael Porter as well. The guy's six foot
yeah,
ten,
Michael Porter.
and
I
Jack's
love
threes
Michael
like
Porter.
Clay Thompson.
Yeah, and he had a rough because he was meant to. He was like maybe drafted 16th or something, 15th, 16th,
Yeah,
and he dropped because he had issues with he had
he's
injury issues and
with
his
his back.
back was cooked. So it's all like, and now you're seeing like, oh, he should have been like probably a top 5 pick or top 6, top 7 pick.
Yeah,
So
on
you,
talent alone, he
yeah,
is
yeah.
amazing player.
He's got like the perfect like basketball body, I reckon. Like he's tall and he's strong and he's long and yeah. So I like him as well. A lot of likable guys on there, and Jokic is just goes about his business. No
So,
bullshit.
so
Just
what's your
yeah.
pick? How many games? So you're picking Denver, and how
I
many
reckon
games?
I'm gonna give Heat a couple. I'm gonna say Denver in 6.
Okay.
I reckon I think Denver win the first two, Miami win game 3, then the Nuggets win game 4, Miami win game 5, and then Nuggets win game 6. That's how I think it's going to happen.
Someone get the sports bet account up. We need to track a batch.
Yeah, back chat bet up. Yeah, didn't travel back from the future with the almanac saying what's
Yeah,
going to
you're not
happen,
hopping in
but
the DeLorean and going back in time.
that's what my gut says. But who knows? Miami Heat go up 2-0. We'll have a completely different discussion next week. When does it actually start?
It starts on Friday morning,
Okay,
and
so by the time we record the next show, there'll probably be 3
there'll
games.
be two games. Game
2.
three is next Thursday. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
again,
Yep.
on would Miami be the worst, or maybe not the worst, but the strangest NBA champion of all time? I was going through that this
Yep.
morning, and in my lifetime, I could not recall a team as just erratic as this during the regular season, potentially winning a championship.
Where did they finish? What seed were they?
8.
Yeah.
They were trailing with 3 minutes left in the playing game against Chicago. So they
Yeah.
were 3 minutes away from having their season ended before the playoffs began.
That's right. You remember DeMar
DeMar
DeRozan's
DeRozan.
daughter?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I do remember that. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
going nuts on the
She
sideline.
was screaming and forcing people to miss free
The
throws,
shriek,
and
right?
the shriek, yeah. And so they asked Demar like after the game, will she be at the next game, the next play in? And he's like, nah, she's got to go to school. And like someone
That's right.
tweeted something funny about like DeAndre DeRozan needing to go to school could cause one of the biggest butterfly effects in like in NBA history because now the Heat are in through the finals, which is funny. So yeah, that's the NBA finals, man. Nuggets Heat. I like it. It's not the TV ratings. It's not the one that probably the NBA wanted, but I think it's going to be a good series. I'll watch it, and yeah, like I said before, I don't have a team that I don't want to win, so I'm happy either way. It's like when you bet money against your team, so you're like, I'm happy if we lose because I win money, but
Yeah.
then I'm happy because we win. That's how I feel about this series.
That's great. It's a mental page. I've been making those bets for the past month with my soccer team.
Yeah,
Shout out
right.
Leeds United, who got relegated from the EPL over the weekend. So
Did they?
they did. We suck. The only silver
Shame.
lining was I was betting against them for the past month. So I like your tactic.
Yeah,
It
that's
works. And my
good.
bank account is more money than my mental happiness has as a sports fan at the moment.
How's I know it's been going around a fair bit. Luton Town, like the
Yeah.
entry into their
Have you
stadium,
seen
like
their stadium?
yeah, just people walking through backyards and stuff, and
Yeah.
like walking through these stairwells through like an alleyway to get to it. And they've just gotten £200 million, or I don't know if it's pounds or dollars,
It's
but a
incredibly
crazy amount
well.
of money to then to put into their team.
So how's this? They have 10,000 seats in that stadium, so a drop in the bucket. You can
Yeah,
barely fit anything into there. But they're going to be hosting teams next year, like Man City, where the
yeah,
Man City playing roster is worth $500 million, and
yeah,
they're playing in front of 10,000 people at a suburban stadium where you've got people having out of their balconies,
yeah.
heckling all the way through. So
I love it.
man, could you imagine? It's why the EPL is the greatest, that you can have these ragtag teams. Although I kind of do hate Luton Town now because, as I say, they've taken my spot of Leeds United. So
Your
hopefully they
spot.
come back down and we can get back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredible. Another place we'll have to take the show. We have to go to the UK, see some soccer.
Okay.
We'll diversify that way and be one of the 10,000 people at Luton going nuts.
It would be epic. We'll have to just start the BackChat APL show or something. And I have no idea. Like, I still don't even know where Swansea are. They were my team a while ago, and
It's probably best that you don't know where they are now. They're not
yeah,
going
I
great.
don't know if they know where they are. Let's move to some NBL. Couple of things. It's still quiet time. It's the off season, but Jesse Wagstaff's been in our conversations recently because obviously there's some speculation that he wouldn't be at the Wildcats next year. It sounds like he's going to be at the Wildcats next year. Now I know Lockie Reed tweeted something out, and usually he knows when he tweets something out around the Wildcats. They definitely just they feed him news. So I would say that's probably a given. I'm pretty sure Jesse may be on the show next week. Been trying and trying and trying. I'm pretty sure next week might be the key, but that's big. Like they get a veteran guy back who, with the way that the Wildcats are being built, it's a brand new team. It's Bryce Cotton, and we all know him, but all these other guys, and even Ty Webster, like, he's returning, but it's only for his second season.
Yeah.
And his brother, what's his brother's name? I've gone
Corey.
blank. Corey. Corey. So sorry, that's what I meant. Corey Webster's second season. Ty played half a season, so there's some familiarity in that roster, but it's going to be a complete overhaul. So having Jesse back would be vital for them, I'd say.
I think for as much as holding back the fans to start the season is everything, because you're right, there's been a lot of turnover on this roster. And you know what I'm like? I'm not the biggest Wildcats fanboy, but I like
Mm.
what they're doing. And I think
Yeah,
they're going to return easily to the top four next season
yeah,
and return to competing for a championship. So I like everything they're doing. And sure, to bring back Jesse Wagstaff, it's a no brainer if he's willing to sit at the end of the bench and play some spot minutes and be that glue guy, all those cliched things, right? To be
yeah.
there and be an extension of the coach. Because to be frank, if the Wildcats are playing Wagstaff 15 to 20 minutes a night next year, they're not going to be achieving their goal. So again, there's a role for Wagstaff. He's going to be the familiar face.
Udonis Haslam.
Correct. It works well for Udonis, right? Collects a paycheck, lives in Miami, waves a towel, goes to the
Yeah.
conference finals. Let's hope for the Wildcats fans that Wagstaff can continue a similar vein of form.
There's going to be a lot of new sort of ways of doing things in terms of player habits, attitudes. It's going to be a real mix. And Jesse's very good at sort of bringing people together and being that voice. So really smart. Like they had to do it. They definitely had to bring Jesse back, regardless of what you think he's going to do on the court. Like, for the teams managing the team and the environment, excellent choice there. I know that Sydney were very interested. A couple of clubs inquiring. I think, why wouldn't you if you wanted that sort of veteran presence on your team? But looks like he'll be going at the Wildcats. And another massive ground shaking move. Jacob Chance,
Your man.
assistant coach at Melbourne United, which is pretty sweet. So this guy went from um, just a helper outer guy at the Perth Wildcats
It's
many
an official
seasons ago.
position.
Yeah, helper outer. Worked his way up, became an assistant coach at Tasmania Jack Jumpers, which is great. And now to Melbourne, which I assume he's probably taking on a bit more of a role than he had. To be under Vickerman is an awesome opportunity for him. So I'm excited to see what happens with Jacob. I did find it funny that for some reason we're linked on LinkedIn. Is that what you say? We're friends on LinkedIn. I don't
Connected.
use LinkedIn very often.
He's a connection.
It's a connection on LinkedIn. You're a LinkedIn guy. I know you are. You post statuses and stuff
No,
on LinkedIn?
I don't go down the path of
You don't?
posting 10 checklist items as to how to be a better professional. I think there's enough people on there doing that.
So I did see it just said, like, congratulate Jacob Chance on his new position. It was like assistant coach at Melbourne United, which for me is just a funny thing when when people share their job role, but it's like in sport, it just doesn't sound right.
What does your LinkedIn position say? Is it Overlord of BackChat or something different?
It's I don't know what it says. I think it just says I think I just wrote making podcasts. I don't know. Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm not doing the whole like the thing about. I know it's way off topic from basketball, but the thing I really can't handle about LinkedIn is when people do like the selfie videos with like someone at a talk that they just gave and like, hey, I'm with Ben here. We just had a talk about attitudes in the workplace. Ben, what did you get out of it? Oh, it was just great to hear someone like so wise in the industry. Like, yeah, great guys. Well, see you next time. Like, just those videos, they're so gross.
Well, I think we need
I
to
feel,
sign you up a new TikTok account and you can start getting life advice from Dan Const because that's exactly what they sound like. And I'm not going to
yeah,
name names, but I know a couple of people like that in our Perth little ecosystem that love a good selfie and love to spruik how they're living the good life. So again, fair play
yeah.
to them. But I'm like you; you won't see me doing the selfie stick videos on Instagram or LinkedIn anytime soon.
The only thing I do use LinkedIn for, I think, is like when I get the red circle on my phone to say I have notifications, I literally open up LinkedIn so it goes away and then I close the app. Like that is purely what I use. I should just delete the app, but I feel like sometimes it might come in handy. One time I did message someone actually, and I got some information through LinkedIn messaging. So maybe that's why I can't fully get rid of it, but I don't use it properly.
There you go. So LinkedIn out there, come sponsor the podcast. Dan Const, keen
Glowing
user
review.
of you.
Glowing review. I think that's all we're going to talk about today. There's more to come, obviously, with the finals. We can talk about the first couple of games. Excited about that. Any other basketball news you want to
N-
scatter in?
no,
Or
we're good. I'm just looking at
no?
my beard here on the reflection, and maybe James Harden needs to take a note and
Yeah,
look what we got going on
James
here.
Harden, who's potentially going back to Houston, apparently, which is the report I saw,
Or
which is
the nightclub
wild.
establishments in Houston are
He
rejoicing and
misses it.
popping champagne because they're
That's
about to
right.
get a lot more revenue if the beard comes back to town.
The other one that I heard about before we go, Frank Vogel. I know his name's been thrown around in some coaching circles. I was listening to 77 Minutes, which is the Dallas Mavericks podcast with Tim Cato from The Athletic, and he said that obviously Vogel is a name that a lot of people want, but he could be going to coach with the Mavericks,
Well,
be an assistant alongside Jason Kidd.
the first thing I thought there is that you were saying listen to Frank Vogel talk for 77 minutes,
No, no,
which
sir.
sounds horrible. One last thing, we haven't spoken since the draft lottery. How happy are you now with the 10th pick? And was the tank
Yeah,
worth it?
yeah. Well, I think they just trade the pick for a player, so
For who or what? What are we expecting?
I
What are we
don't know.
praying for?
This is what I'm thinking. Right, there's a couple of options. I think either I'm hope the reason why I really wanted the Celtics to lose was so that Jalen Brown would be out of Boston or Marcus Smart, like they won out of Boston, and he comes and plays with Kyrie at the Mavs. So that's an option. I was talking to Liam Santamaria, who's the Suns guy, and I said to him, "How about we give you Kyrie and we'll take Aiton and CP3?" I just feel like that is a Mavs move. Like a guy that's like, oh, I don't know if I want Aiton. CP3's old. I don't want that to happen. But then Kyrie goes and plays with KD at the Phoenix Suns, and that's a very good team with Booker.
Do you want Kyrie back on a 4-year deal?
Yes and no. I don't know. Nah, I don't. I don't know. Like we don't have options. If we were like, oh, we always get a big free agent anyway. It doesn't matter. Like I'd probably say no. But I think he's probably one of our only things that we can go for. So Jalen Brown, Kyrie, Luca, that's a championship winning combo. And yeah, I don't know. So I guess we'll find out what happens with the
Yeah,
10th pick. That was your original question. The 10th pick, whether they draft someone or I don't know.
you're talking.
Grady Dick apparently is not the pick, according to Tim Cato. The Mavs said they won't be picking him with the 10th. I just don't know what we'll do.
Yeah, well, I know what Luke is going to be doing in 12 months, and that's requesting a
No,
trade down to Miami. So
no, no.
enjoy your one last season with Luka Doncic because he will be a member of Heat culture within 24 months. That's
Nah.
my hot prediction.
Okay, thanks, Ben. BackChat underscore basketballs, where you can find us on Instagram,
On the
or
plus
send
side, we
us.
can go to Miami and watch Luca play. Come on,
True.
sacrifice the Mavericks for a trip to Miami.
I
That's
don't
worth
know if the thing is about Miami, they would have to have a leash on Luca because I think he's the
it.
sort of guy that would like. I don't know. He loves a bit of shisha. He loves his food. Like it'd be easy to be sort of
Yeah, but Pat Riley
lured
makes
out.
them do like boot camp level army stuff, so you can
That's
work
true.
twice as hard during the day and put it back on at night, and you'll be in the same spot he is now.
I did see Luca running up a set of
I
stairs.
did see that as well. It
Yeah,
reminded me of that. What's the Adam Sandler movie from last year? Have you seen that? The
I
Hustle.
haven't seen Adam Sandler movie in 20 years,
Well,
mate.
it's
I
a.
think.
This one's actually quality. It's actually worth watching. It's a
Oh
basketball
right.
movie. But yeah, there's a
Oh no, yes, yes, I've seen that one. Yes,
yeah,
that is
there's
very
a
good.
scene where that character Bo Cruz is just running up the stairs, and it reminded me of that with Luca when I saw that
Yeah,
during the week because, well, whether he's just kind of trying to create a remix of that movie or whether he's actually putting in the work, who knows? It might have just been a one hill sprint, one video kind of
that's the
job.
thing. Someone tweeted like the league isn't ready for in shape Luca. It's like the guy ran up one set of stairs. I haven't seen him do anything else. Like we can't we can't just assume he's going to come back this machine, and
Luca's
I hope he
marketing
does.
team must have been watching the Ben Simmons camp from the past 5 years because that's a
Yeah,
off-season tradition like no other. We get a 30-second clip of Ben shooting threes.
Ben's back.
Ben's back, the shot's here, and then what happens? The three's
Yep.
not back.
Of
Well, it's
course.
never been here.
Backchat_basketball. I don't want to keep shitting on players. Backchat underscore basketball on Instagram. Hello, backchatpodcast.com. You send us an email. I'll let you know, everyone, talking to you, Ben, and to everyone, if Jesse's coming on board next week, and we'll
Yeah.
get the post out early, get some questions to him, but it should be good. Otherwise, it's probably just going to be you and me again. But that's fine.
Well,
We'll talk about the Miami and Celtic series.
well, we'll send up the bat signal, see if we can find Greg or Jesse or any Perth Wildcats
Yeah.
players out there.
Yeah.
Greg's a bit of a worry. I haven't seen him for a few months, so hopefully
He
he's
texted me
still in one.
today. He said
Oh,
he's
he's alive.
traveling around. I think he said he's going to Narrabeen.
Oh,
Narrabeen.
I don't even know
So
where is that.
somewhere in WA. He's on the road. So Greg's on tour.
Sleeping in
Ben,
his car.
I think he's doing okay. I'll see you next week, Ben.
See you, mate.